Hey, what's up, guys? Riv here. So today we have a lot of updates regarding the H3H3 lawsuits. Now, I could have made like 4 different videos with the amount of updates we're going to be going over today, but I want to jam pack it into one video because honestly, we're falling behind on other things. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a new lawsuit being added to the existing ones, some updates on the GoFundMe campaigns of the recipients of those lawsuits. Also, we're going to be looking at some controversy involving Asmongold, as well as some comments from Hasan trying to rally up the whole internet against Asmongold and Ethan Klein, the very evil content creators that are making the internet a very toxic place. Now, let's start off with the GoFundMes. So, recipient number 1 of the lawsuits from Ethan Klein, that is, of course, Denims. Let's see the progress so far after about 8 or 9 days. She's sitting at $34,000, 34% of her $100,000 goal. Still chugging on here, but there's some interesting developments coming from Frogan. So Frogan is now on a break. She's taking a week off. Now, personally, I'm going to be real. I don't think she has time right now to be taking a week off. I don't think this is the best time, especially given the fact that her GoFundMe is struggling. And part of that is thanks to the fact she set the goal to $200,000. So even though she's raised $32,000, she's only sitting at 16% of her total goal. Not looking good. And then, of course, we have the wild card in this, Kaceytron, who I'm going to share with you guys in a stunning fashion. She is the true dark horse of this GoFundMe race. She's in the lead, ladies and gentlemen. She's up to $40,000. Now, I think that's in part because she's been doing her best to play the victim in this situation. Honestly, the only thing more strained than her lungs from smoking so much is probably her tear ducts over the past couple of days from crying so much on the internet. But hey, it's working. She's now up to 40,000. She's the closest to fulfilling her GoFundMe goal. And we'll talk more about some stuff involving her a little later in this video. But there is an interesting set of developments here. Ethan Klein on Instagram would share this post addressing many Redditors, journalists, and other social media users who are accusing him of being a misogynist with these lawsuits because the 3 recipients are all women. So he wanted to set the record straight, saying, "To the chorus of fools accusing me of only suing women, please point out any of the male creators that stated their intention to steal my content. I will happily add them to the lawsuit in the spirit of equality." What a nice guy Ethan is. Now, this, of course, would bring in a new person to the Thunderdome, another Hasan orbiter by the name of Sean the Black. Like, imagine if I went around calling myself Rev the Whites. I mean, are we serious here? But yes, if you remember the original video from Ethan Klein announcing the lawsuits, he showed this Reddit post from the H3 Snark subreddit where it listed all of the market replacements for his content nuke on Hasan Piker. And of course, you see the other people in the lawsuits, Frogan, Denims, and Kaceytron, but also listed is Sean the Black. And ever since the announcement of these lawsuits, he's been fighting for thy ladies, trying to defend their honor and basically say, hey, Ethan, if you're a big tough guy, get rid of the lawsuits on them and give it to me.
It's not great.
Bad move.
It's not a great look to do. Great if you're trying to avoid committing copyright infringement. It's not great.
If you're trying to avoid copyright, okay, sue her.
After he paraded on the internet about how he was going to sue me and he wanted to sue me, guess what? Still no lawsuit.
Sue me, Ethan. Who the fuck cares?
Womp womp. Ask and you shall receive, I guess, because H3H3 Productions here on Instagram stating, "Good evening. I've been thinking deeply about everything going on, specifically about the accusation that I'm a misogynist for suing 3 women. You are all correct. It's not been fair. That's why I've decided to add Sean the Black to the lawsuits for gender equality. Sean, be sure to thank all of your snarker friends for their constructive advice." Yep, so that's what's going on here. And some of the people involved with the various statements about this have come out and provided some quote-unquote retractions, because that was part of the deal for Ethan. He wanted these 2 people here by the name of Kat Tenbarge and Taylor Lorenz, who made articles and posts talking about him and why people are accusing him of being a misogynist. So his deal here is basically they retract their statements, and maybe I will retract my lawsuit against Sean, and they would make an attempt. Not a good one. Where Taylor would say, okay, bet, I'm ever so sorry for calling you a misogynist, Ethan. Now drop this lawsuit against Sean, who absolutely does not deserve this. Not a very good attempt there. And then apparently the other girl, Kat, is not on Twitter, so she provided this. I want to be clear that my piece never refers to Ethan Klein as a misogynist. It says the lawsuits have provoked a torrent of misogynistic abuse aimed at these women who were already frequent targets, were the latest gift to the misogynistic cesspool of the internet, and are catnip for the misogynistic ecosystem in the Twitch community and beyond. I'll apologize for something I didn't say if it saves someone else from being financially destroyed, but I think this latest move proves the point of everything I did say. Don't worry, she didn't directly verbatim say you're a misogynist. She just said you're appealing to a misogynistic cesspool, you're creating misogyny, a misogynistic ecosystem, and yada, yada, yada. We know what she was trying to say. Clearly, these people couldn't put their pride to the side in order to get this guy's lawsuit reconsidered. So definitely not helping him out there. But we've now reached his reaction here, where he's made it very clear he's not retracting anything. And he thinks this sort of choice of options that Ethan has pursued with the retractions and their request is more misogyny. And on top of that, it basically is something that Ethan was doing to make them grovel at his feet, where he could probably just deny them anyways, because he never said it was a done deal if he just got these retractions. But now we've reached a point, a very interesting one, where a number of the people involved with the iDubbbz content cop on H3 have been sued. And they have, let's begin here with Frogan, Denims, and now Sean.
Ethan, wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Oof. Yeah, so 3 targets there, but there's of course Kaceytron, who is not a part of that video, but she's been doing her own little side quests. And like I said, hey, give credit where credit is due. She is milking this the best she can. She is trying to play her victim card as hard as possible, and she is bringing on the tears as much as she can. And this clip has gotten a lot of attention, where she talks about how she's being attacked by incel communities across many different social media platforms. And of course, she doesn't know what incel means. She calls literally everyone and anything she doesn't like an incel. But let's listen to this clip and the communities that she's calling out.
You know, I'm just so fucking tired. You know, like, it's like you don't get a lot of support whenever you're attacked by these hateful incel communities. I mean, like, even outside of the shit that Ethan is doing to me, it's like, it just makes every incel community that has hated me for years attack me once again. And it's like, I felt like I was finally getting away from that kind of harassment. You know what I mean? And it's just like evoked like all of that all over again. Like, I'm being attacked by like incel YouTubers that make content for incel men to make fun and laugh at women going through traumatic things. You know, like, I'm being attacked by like in the quartering incel channels that I've never even heard of. The rape reviewer Nicholas DeOrio, or what the you know, Asmongold's community, Tectone's community is now claiming that Tectone is going to sue me for defamation. You know, it's like I have been through a lot. You know, like, I have been through a lot, and I do think I'm a strong person, but somebody can only fucking take so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, ironically enough, a lot of the content creators she mentioned there are people that she shot at first. She attacked them first, and at some point, some of them decided to respond in one way or another, and that makes her a victim in her own eyes. And she's still trying to provoke controversy between these groups to make herself look like the innocent one being bullied by all of these incels, right? But of course, people are digging through a lot of her past because she has this big spotlight on her now, and people are bringing up banger articles like this from Business Insider, where apparently years back, she said that if she were to get the coronavirus, she would go around and try to spread it as to many people as she possibly could, because the world would be a better place without old and poor people. Imagine if any of her enemies said something like this, they would never hear the end of it. But she would say it's just a joke. And guess who came to her defense back in 2020? Asmongold. Now, you know, that's an interesting dynamic here, as we'll see, but he said it's an obvious joke and he didn't want her to be banned. And she says, I appreciate the support. Truly, I'm devastated. Now, things would sour over the years. In fact, their relationship, or whatever it was, their goodwill towards one another, would completely evaporate when over the past year or two, Kaceytron would have a fixation on Asmongold on a near daily basis, where she has been going after him and saying, as we'll see shortly, disgusting comments about his mother who has passed away. But just name search Asmon or Asmongold on her account, and this is only over the past year or so. I could scroll on and on and on and on and on and on forever. And these are just direct mentions, not general comments, not things said on stream, in private, other platforms, just on Twitter. It's crazy. Now, this morning, she's been trying to, once again, paint Asmongold as the bane of her existence, her biggest harasser. She made this tweet saying, Asmongold is rallying the troops against me. And in quotes from Asmon, it's going to get worse, it's going to get a lot worse, and will never get better, end quote. And then she says he's signaling to his hate audience that he wants to run a lifelong harassment campaign against me, and lightly hinting that I should game end myself. Now, this is the problem with this right here, this entire thread. Basically, everything she's trying to imply about him and his community is at least attempted to be proven with these screenshots, and none of them prove anything she's trying to say. In fact, she shares a clip of Asmongold from his reaction to the clip we just watched a couple minutes ago, and there's no audio. Look at this. There's no audio. So she's trying to say he said this, and then plays the clip, and then mutes it. Doesn't that seem a bit suspicious to you behind, her intentions of why she's providing any of this? And if you look at the statements, right here, he's talking about the lawsuit. He's talking about how she has made this a lot worse for herself, and it's going to keep getting worse because she's going to be dealing with this lawsuit that she's basically been begging for a long time now. And then she says, based on that, he's signaling to his hate audience that he's going to run a lifelong harassment campaign, which is hilarious because if you know the history between these two, it's like 50 punches from Kaceytron. Every 6 months or so, Asmongold in a 1-minute clip laughs at her and then moves on. And then we just repeat the cycle over and over again. There's only one person running a dedicated harassment campaign, and it's Kaceytron. And she also says that he's lightly hinting she should game end herself with literally no proof whatsoever. And again, people will point out the hypocrisy of her in this public Discord message saying that the content creator Destiny should do another round of shrooms because last time he had bad thoughts in his head and wanted to game end himself. Okay, I don't like Destiny in any sort of a way, but if you're going to dish out stuff like this, you can't cry when people are dishing it back to you, or in this case, not even doing that. It's just crazy. But of course, like I said, Asmon reacts to her having a crash out on stream over this because, well, she has said many terrible things about him, including comments about his mother who has passed away.
That's what really,
This is the same girl that said I killed my mother. The amount of sympathy that I have for this? 0. You get what you fucking deserve. Ethan W. Huge Ethan W.
me, so freaked out.
That's right.
And I know people are going to be making fun of me for this.
I'm not making fun of you for it. I'm just saying that you deserve it. You deserve it. By the way, if you didn't deserve it, you wouldn't have gotten served. And it's gonna get worse.
And I'm just so fucking tired of constantly being harassed by this shit, you know? Like,
Then you should stop harassing other people.
for the past 3 or 4 months, I've really just been like, I just want to focus on myself and I want to focus on my community. And
You
yeah,
want to focus on yourself and your community, so you actively lead harassment campaigns against multiple people to get them deplatformed, misrepresent them, and call them rapists, but you just want to focus on being positive in your community? No, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. It's so obvious.
you know, Asmongold's community, Tectone's community is now claiming.
That's right. You shouldn't have talked shit about me. What do you think? I'm a target dummy? You think I'm supposed to just take it? And also, I barely even talk about you. The only time I think about you is whenever you're talking about me.
Claiming that Tectone is going to sue me for defamation.
Oh. Remember how I said I thought it was going to get worse?
I think it's funny to see the reaction to this stuff and like the people supporting her threads on Twitter so aggressively, but then you go outside of the echo chamber and you look at YouTube here in a video that has 1.5 million views in only less than 24 hours. Clearly has touched a lot of people. And look at the reaction. 73,000 likes versus 200 dislikes. Not 2,000 dislikes, 200 dislikes. That's crazy. It shows the amount of people supporting him, laughing at her, and basically saying, you reap what you sow. Things are going to be tough for you right now, especially with these legal cases, but you have no one to blame but yourself because of your own actions. Now, this morning in the same thread, she's been trying to get ahead of the comments that Asmon made about his mother and what Kaceytron said about them. And she's saying this, that Asmongold said that claimed that he caused his own mother's passing. And she says that's a lie. Again, it's like not even funny how easy it is to debunk everything she's saying or to point out her hypocrisy. This was a clip from over a year ago where we see her reaction and his reaction to hearing these comments about him and his mother.
And Kaceytron, she even goes farther. I saw this. Somebody sent this to me. Kaceytron even liked a tweet that is accusing me of indirectly killing my mom.
That tweet, it says, thankfully XQC's lifestyle hasn't led directly to the death of one of his parents yet, so he has that going for him over Asmon at least. I'll admit, I did like that tweet, and I have a lack of respect for Asmongold after letting his mom with COPD live in those sort of conditions. I'm sorry. Like, you're a millionaire, you have all of the resources in the world. Why is your sick mother living like that? Like, I'll say it, I don't care. If that makes me a bad person,
Okay.
Still miles above of Asmongold. Miles above Asmongold.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I do genuinely believe that bad things do happen to bad people. And so whenever
It's like they play this game of, if I didn't directly say verbatim, word for word, what's being claimed here, I'm not responsible whatsoever. It's very obvious what she was heavily implying here, what she was supporting, and of course, years later, Asmongold's not gonna feel pity for you. And that's just one of many outrageous things she's said about him in a very one-sided battle for years now. Of course the guy is going to laugh at your situation because you have gone after him so hard for so many years. Now there's one person left in this puzzle that we have to talk about, and it's Hasan. He's seeing his soldiers, his best orbiters, in the mud. They're struggling. They need help. Now, of course, he hasn't donated to their GoFundMes or anything like that. Whatever. That's not important. But he will say this. He wants to rally the internet, including the biggest content creators, against Asmongold and Ethan to try to keep them in check. Yeah, let's see these comments right here.
There are numerous examples of people that were just like cast aside as pariahs. But nowadays, a lot of the people that do speak out about this shit, a lot of people that do speak out about this kind of stuff are actually some of the most awful people, right? It's Keemstar orbiters that rely on this constant cycle of toxicity. So even the good side of commentary YouTube just basically stays quiet. And a lot of the big content creators try to stay away from this drama because they don't want this kind of toxicity to come their way, which is understandable. Nobody wants this kind of a psychopath up their asshole all the time. But that's the problem. The less people push back against people like this, or even Asmongold, for example, for saying a whole bunch of insane things that actually make this space that we occupy a less safe space for a lot of our fans that are trans or have undocumented family members or themselves are undocumented or fucking not white. You know what I mean? Like, when none of us push back against these large content creators, and all of the big content creators that normally understand that this kind of thing is completely unacceptable, or even what Asmongold is doing is completely unacceptable, keeps silent, the only voices you hear create a new permission structure that make it seem as though everyone actually has this point of view. Everyone actually agrees with Ethan, because the only people that I hear from are people who agree with Ethan, right? Or the only people that I hear from are people who agree with Asmon. And anyone who speaks out against Asmon is the recipient of an endless torrent of hate.
Funny how Asmongold laughing at the situation that Kaceytron finds herself in is somehow rallying the troops and starting a hate campaign from incel communities. But this guy is trying to rally the whole internet, including biggest content creators, with a lot of pressure to go after Ethan and Asmongold to keep them in check, whatever that means. But yeah, that's fine. That's not anything but laughing at the circumstances of someone who mocked the passing of your own mother. That's too far. Yeah, see, everyone's so polarized in this situation. You can see the reactions to like the thread that Kaceytron made. Either it's blind support or valid criticism. There's no in between. But all I know is that there's a lot going on here, and it's surely not going to end anytime soon. But that's the most recent updates and everything going on with these lawsuits. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.